And we are live. Hi, everybody. I'm back for the second episode, and I've had to rearrange my studio. I definitely need a bigger studio, even though this is cool. My next one hopefully will look as nice with all these pictures and everything on the wall. I hope everybody has had a great Easter weekend. I know we did. Actually, I spent a good part of the day painting on this painting right here. As you can see, I'm going to paint a little bit right here today. And first, I wanted to show you a couple of things. And look, I'll show you our books. There's our books. Together in a Dream and Remembering the Magic. And they're both out. You can get them on Amazon. Okay, I've done my plug. And now we are on to other things here. I'm going to show you something I got to show you my coffee mug of the day. So you can see this side of it, Walt Disney Studios, and there's Mickey as the director. I love this mug. We have another black one that's Mickey talking through a bullhorn on a movie set. And actually, I can't eat this while doing this, but this is a piece of the Swedish coffee cake that I made. Yeah, I know I burnt the back of it a little bit. Hey, I'm not perfect. Okay. Uh, so the minute we finish today, I'm going to eat that. And then maybe a chocolate chip cookie. I make chocolate chip cookies too. So, yes, I'm going to paint on this painting. If you're, I just dropped my brush. Don't go away. Ah, ah, ah. Well, that was good. Y'all still there? That's the brush I needed. And it, there, jeez. I'm back. I didn't have to want to find another small brush. So we're off to a great start today. And on that note, I will go ahead and show you something else that I've got here. In our first book, I had a chapter on the costume character that the costume department at Disney World wanted to create a Jiminy Cricket back in actually early 1980. And so the first thing I did to show them how a 4'2" character in the Zoo Crew, which my wife was in, would be looking out the mouth of Jiminy Cricket, and by size he would be this big. And they came and looked at it, and they said, yes, that is me standing beside it. And they said, it's too big. And I went, well, Mickey Mouse is 6 foot tall. And Chip and Dale are 6 foot tall. And he said, it's too big. So they wanted me to make a foam head, and which I did. I did a clay sculpture first so I could see it in 3 dimensions, and I made it out of foam. And so the person could come out from the character department, put it on and animate so they'd see what it looked like and whether it was too big or not. I got Mickey Mouse feet and hands that were being discarded. They have a whole group of people, well, I don't know if that's changed now, but there were 100 people in this warehouse back at the back of the Disney property that actually remade the costume heads, hands, feet, and everything. And the costume department actually made the costumes. But they made the hard shell figures. And this is what I made out of foam to show them. And those are the Mickey Mouse feet and hands I got that were being discarded. They wear out really fast. And when I was all done, they let me keep those. So this is one of Mickey. I have 2 of these. This is one of Mickey's hands. You can see how it's kind of got really bad shape over the years. It's dried out. It's actually almost like a silicone covering over foam. You can see inside there where they put their hand, but it did bend. Don't want to bend it too much; it'll crack. And so these things are 37 years old. And here is one of Mickey's feet, and you can see the shoe that's been molded inside there. And that's something from Halloween. But anyway, that is molded into the foot of Mickey, and these things are pretty solid. And when my wife used to wear some almost this size and weight when she was in Sleepy the Dwarf. So yes, I have the Mickey hands and feet, and they just said it was too big. They weren't going to use the costume. And then a few weeks, about a month later, all of a sudden we were in the park one day with our kids, and my daughter says, "Dad, what's that?" And I look, and here's this weird little short green uh, cricket. It didn't look like Mickey at all, except it had a top hat on. That lasted about 3 days. So when they got wind of it, went out to the studios in California, and then it was 2005. We were at Disneyland, and we saw the parade, and they were introducing Jiminy Cricket, and the Jiminy Cricket costume looked almost exactly like what I had designed, and the same height and everything else. So it only took 25 years. On that note, oh, let's see who's here today. Oh, and share this with your friends. I'm only on a half hour today. The 1 hour episode, I did the first one. I was tired. And speaking of tired, I'm not really tired today. I just need coffee. So, and if you're wondering what this ring is on my hand, that is my college ring from University of Miami. And graduated in 72. Very proud of it. That's why I wear it. My wife helped me get it. Send cookies with the painting. That's good, Sarah. They are very good. Giul- Giuliani, am I saying that right? Uh, Hola, I hope I pronounced that right. Jeffrey, love the painting. Thank you. Um, love these painting sessions. Well, I'll try to make it fun. And Sarah, you just shared this with somebody. Chanda, hello. Jeffrey, oh, thank you. I am feeling better. I was just on last Thursday. I just finally just said I need I need a break. So I did. I took a break. And instead of doing this on the same day every week, I've now set it up on my website and on Facebook. I'll announce it. And when I'm going to do one each week, I'll just announce it a couple of days ahead of time. Realizing that our schedule and my schedule changes constantly with all the work that I'm doing. And right now we're getting ready to open in just a couple of weeks with A Midsummer Night's Dream, the Shakespeare play, Bard and the Burbs, with my son as the artistic director, and I helped do some of the set on that. My wife, Suzanne, is co-directing. So, but as you can, I set this up a little bit better this week, so I'm still painting at a little bit of an angle, but it's not quite as bad. And you can see how much of the castle I got done. And when you see this up really close, you realize that it's not super realistic, even though I'm going to try to bring this in closer so you can see. I hope that is reading good. And now we move back. I need a cameraman and an engineer. If you come do that for me, I'll give you cookies. Um, so now I'll try not to drop my brush again. And what I'm doing is, of course, last week I was way up here working on that part of the castle. And the rest of the painting, actually, on the sides here, the buildings, and there's more buildings on the other side, will be done with a little bit larger brush, this one, and also one this size. So I can, and we'll go through this much quicker in these spots. There's not as much, going to be as much detail. It's going to be darker because we want the castle to stand out. The people on the street, and of course, down here in this corner, down there, those are the kids. Don't know if you've got it. I'm going to make everybody seasick, including myself. You know, when I went into the service out of high school, I was in for, gosh, I got stationed eventually in Hawaii, but I was seasick almost all the time we went out for the first couple of years, and then I got over it. They were talking about getting me out of the service because I wouldn't get over being seasick. Then I ended up in Vietnam. Well, there's how things go. So anyway, I have my pre-mixed colors here that I had last week, and I managed to keep them wet and still useful. And then I also have some orange and some yellow that I mixed, and I have some black that's right there. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go in here, and even though in the photo I took at night, this comes out like black in there. I want to give it some light coming through to make it more exciting, and I want to be able to put the so you can see the statue of Walt and Mickey kind of silhouette a little bit on there. So what I will do first is put a little bit of orange in here. Now it looks like it's on fire, doesn't it? But I'll tone that down a little bit. And we'll take some yellow and put in here, kind of blend it together. So it looks like something big is going on in Fantasyland on the other side. A lot of lights from the carousel and everything else. And then I'm going to tone that down a little bit with some blue. We don't want it to be too bright. And then I'll take and use some black around the edges of the opening and blend that down a little bit. This is actually I think this is the first time I've actually painted the castle in this much detail in a painting. And my paintings do tend to be a little impressionistic. When you get up close and look at it, you see that. But when you step back even a few feet, it looks much more detailed. Oh, Catherine, hi. Um, from the Netherlands. Seriously? Hi, Ingeborg. Um, wow, that's really cool. And thank you. It's just gorgeous, Sarah. That's thank you again. And no, you can't have a cookie. Uh, thanks for the comment, Nick. You were too funny. Uh, and Myra, is that Myra or Mayra? Wish I had the time to paint. Make the time. It's always good therapy, even if you're not good at it. But I bet you are. Um, oh, and Sarah I didn't realize I was putting Mickey and Walt in there. Surprise! Cat's out of the bag. Uh, so on we go. If you've just joined and haven't been with me before, I'm RJ Ogren. A lot of people know me as Randy, mostly from back in high school, college, the service, and Disney. But in '85, we started taking trips to England. So those of you from England know exactly why I started going by the name RJ. Enough said. Don't make any comments. Now, on these little side areas here coming down, there are, I'm going to paint just little bits of, it looks like I'm putting all kinds of detail in there. And then I'm going to put a line. There are some narrow columns on both sides coming down here. And I want to put a little bit of black in between to highlight that. Great thing is I can fix anything I mess up. And yes, I do mess up. I'm not perfect. I'm not Bob Ross, okay? Bob Ross was amazing. He was so much fun. Oh, my grandson, our middle grandson, Chris, who's in college, his wonderful girlfriend, Sam, is she's studying art therapy, so she's taking all kinds of neat art classes. They're up at Carroll University in Wisconsin. Beautiful school, small school. And she's great. She's a really good artist. So we're going. They're having a big art show next week, and we're or this later this week. We're going to it. And anyway, we were up there a couple of weeks ago, and of course she knows about my Disney background, which she thought was pretty cool. But she showed me one art project, and it had to be about somebody that influenced them in their lives. Um, and she brought it out to show it to me. It was really cool, and it was Bob Ross. And I said, you know that we were good friends with Bob Ross, and I did some videos, cartoon videos for him and his company. And her jaw dropped, and I realized she was more impressed by that than she was with Disney. Um, so I thought that was cool. We've managed to meet a lot of really neat people over the years. Now, I was debating whether or not to even paint on this part of the castle for this episode because this is a lot of detail. It's like up here, there was a lot of detail. But what's fun in this area here is that it's actually black uh, behind it. It's what it shows at night. And now you know why I'm using a very small brush to get a little more water into that. Hello, everybody. Um, and who we got here? Gorgeous as always. Oh, thank you, Aaron. And what kind of paint do I? This is acrylic. I should have mentioned that. I'm using acrylics. I used to be an oil painter many, many years ago. Many years ago, which is amazing because I'm only 25. I, um, but back in the very early 70s, right around 73, I switched to acrylics. And actually, the reason I switched to acrylics, I had never painted in it. And then I was actually teaching. One year I taught in public schools in Miami. And through a contact at the front office, they came back one day, this one woman, and she says that she's friends with this woman at the Doral Hotel on Miami Beach. And Liza Minnelli was appearing, and they thought it would be neat to have a portrait done of her as a gift. And they asked her if she knew of anybody, and she goes, well, yeah, our art teacher does paintings and portraits. Next thing I know, I was meeting Liza Minnelli, and then I was doing a painting for her, and but I had to do it in acrylics because it had to be done quite quickly, and that was fun. I did not know what I was doing that first time. Um, Here's something I bet y'all don't realize on the castle. They find out all these little things. So I'll go back and clean some of this up after I do this with some line work over the top. Let's do this here. Paint that back in. I'm just going to do this. It'll be easier. Oh no, he painted over it. Sorry. Um, but I don't know if you can see it on the screen there, but this roof right here actually has a pattern on it of diagonal squares. And you can see it. I did paint it in there. It's the only roof that's like that on the castle. And no, I don't know why they did that. So don't ask. I oh, okay. I'll stop. Speaking of shoes, something very personal. Oh, he's taking his shoe off. I paint in some very fancy shoes from LL Bean. Uh, they are LL Beans. They're, they're my old ones. And no, I am not that sloppy in the studio. This is from working on scenic sets on stage in theater and doing haunted houses. There's black light paint on there, that red. That's black light. So I'm not going to bother to put that on. I'll disappear from the screen again. I lead a strange life, but a fun life. And that's what it's all about. So I'm going to paint that right there. Any other? Okay. Happy little fireworks. Yeah, I don't paint happy trees. I paint happy little fireworks. That was good. Thank you. um, oh, and thank you. Very good. Very nice. Um, I'm trying to read. This is why I need a person here with me so they can read this stuff and tell me what everybody's saying. I can't keep up with all of them, but I'll come back on them later. Um, put a little bit down here. This is actually amazing the amount of detail that's in here. I know I stopped talking. This is something funny too. That if you read the book, you read about the time that the other artists snuck up behind me, and I didn't realize they were there at first. And then I was concentrating so much on painting something, and I stopped and I went, "What?" And they said, "Do you know you stop breathing when you paint detail?" I think I mentioned that last week, and I do. I literally concentrating on something and I stop breathing. Um, but the good thing is I do start breathing again. Um, there. Now, how many of you realize that there's actually a big clock right there? Is that a clock? Put a little bit of yellow in there. Yeah, put a little bit of white in with that. Sometimes I will put a wash over parts of things that I'm painting too after it dries. What I like about acrylics, if I want to lighten something up. Um, Suzanne, she doesn't like to watch because she thinks I'm going to ruin the work. And actually, part of this, I did a wash over in this area after I painted it. It was on this part right here, light blue. And of course, I'm putting in, you see the impression of the stonework in the lower part of the castle. I put that in also. I bet you a lot of you didn't even pay attention to the fact that some of that stuff is there. Uh, and right there. Okay, now I'm gonna get even wackier. Now we have the clock. I don't know what time I made it, but I should change that. What is that? What have I got on there? 1:30, 1:35, and it's dark. It's a late night at Disney. It's one of their special nights. It's an all-nighter. I'm not going to change it. I like it. It makes people talk about it and try to figure it out. Down here around the, I know I'm just jumping around because I just want to show you different things in this time frame here. That this archway going in has got detail, which I won't show all of it because it's so small. Here we go. I know it got a little out of hand, but that's where I get to fix it. Now, what I'm also doing with the colors on here in this part, I used a lighter shade of lavender up in here. In other places, it's darker, and like right here, I'm going to put that in. So I put the lavender in, and then I have 2 shades of blue, and I'm going to blend it right on the canvas here. A little bit over there. I painted that earlier today. And then I can come back here and fix some of that. We all realize that because I posted that I was saying 3 p.m. and I forgot to tell everybody it was Central Time. Somebody actually asked. I went, oops. So usually when I do these, I'll do them at 3 o'clock. Maybe I'll do some a little bit later for those who keep missing them. And oh, Randy, thank you. So just beautiful. This is so relaxing to watch. Yeah, I'm so relaxed. If I fall asleep, just ignore me. Um, and lucky painting shoes. Yes, they are. These shoes I have painted so many sets on, um, and so many. In fact, I worked on a haunted house that I designed last year. That's up by it has blacklight paint. I should make the time 5 o'clock. That way it will always be 5 o'clock there and at my house. Maybe I will, but I'm not going to do it right. Nighttime magic. Thank you, Dor. Wait, some of you have such neat names. Is that pronounced Doretha or Dorotha? Doretha. Wow. And Tammy. Hey, Randy. Hey, Tammy. Nice to see you. Okay, fine. I'll fix it. This is the beauty of working in acrylics because that clock is already dry. So I will change the time. So we can make Sarah happy. Your birthday's next week, isn't it, Sarah? All right. 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock it is. So there and there. All right, you happy now? Oh, that's the 29-minute mark. I'll tell you, does this go as fast for you as it does for me? Oh, I just made the hand bigger than it's supposed to be. I'll have to let it dry before I can fix it. Another thing was dealing with a very tiny brush and a small detail. Uh, but you can see, I'm going to pick this up and show you a more direct shot at the castle. And you can see the photograph I'm using that I took. And there, down on the bottom left is Sarah's kids. Right down there. Boy, I'm not good at moving this thing around. That's why I wasn't a cameraman. Oh, actually, I was in Vietnam, but I did not take movie shots. I was a still shot photographer. Okay, and that is the painting, which I'm planning to have this done for sure next week. I did spend part of this week working on the woman on the tightrope that I showed you earlier. That's right behind me here. Oh, and that picture up above there, that is actually a picture I did. I took a photo of Suzanne years ago, and that was at the White Garden where Princess Diana, when she was still alive. And I took that photo of Disney right there at Kensington Palace, and then I turned it into a pen and ink and watercolor portrait of Susie. Okay, on that note, I'm going to look real quick at a few more things you've said here. And I pronounced, oh, now I don't know how I said it. I pronounced Doretha's name right the first time. Is that how I said it? Oh, sorry. Uh, and 5 o'clock would be my own little inside joke. Oh, that's right, it will be. Friends and family call me DJ. Oh, that's much easier. That's why I use RJ. No, it's another reason you go by RJ. One, I like it, and my name really is Randy. It's not Randall. It's not Randolph. Um, my mother said she named me after the actor Randolph Scott, and I said, well, then why isn't it Randolph? She couldn't answer me. Doretha. Thank you, Doretha. Okay, on that note, everybody, thank you so much for joining me again. I will be back again next week working on a different painting and having more little things to show you in my studio. I got a ton of stuff in here. So I'm now going to eat a piece of my Swedish coffee cake that I made. This is my grandmother's recipe. And I'm going to drink my cold coffee. And here's to all of you who dream. It would help if I turned off the screen, though, wouldn't it? Bye until next time.